Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to M5 Property Fund, and we will talk anything and everything around real estate. And today is the grand finale. And I say this in all good faith, in all understanding that it is a true fact that there is no gimmick around it. There is no turning back around it. The fund that has been giving the enormous returns that we've been getting. A lot of you have raised your hands. You have said, I want to get involved. But there are some of you that are still out there. You don't know. You're sitting on the fence. And this thing is literally coming to an end. We are slowly getting close to the 30th of June. And today we are saying that it is the grand finale because it literally takes us a few days, around about 2 to 3 working days for us to process your paperwork, for you to be able to be in the Section 12J. What am I talking about? There's plenty of material that we've been talking about on the Section 12J. So this is not new to you. But today I'm talking to Joe. Joe, who's our fund manager. Good morning. He's out in Poch at the moment as I speak, and I am based in Johannesburg. And we decided to go live in the early hours today, so that we can talk about what we are seeing, what our customers are giving us as feedback, as some of the opportunities that they are seeing on our fund. And these things were not intentional in the beginning, but actually they are putting us on the edge. Actually, our customers are saying that, there is no any other fund that is offering this. And if any of this resonate with you, and whilst you're still sitting on the fence, you still have time. Joe and I is available. We've got a team of 5 people that are working on the calls, receiving calls, making calls, putting in the paperwork together. Myself and Joe, we are actually also doing the paperwork and making sure that none of you is left out. Why am I out here talking to you? Because I don't want you to be left out. If you are left out, it means that you're not going to get the returns. It means that you're not going to get your money from SARS. Why do I care? It's because this is something that can change your life, change the generation of your life, and change the lifestyle of those that you love. Because property is one of those assets that you can have for a longer time. But if you don't come with, well, I've done my job. Joe has done his job. M5 Property Addicts, we have done our job. But you missed the train. But let's have a quick discussion so that you don't miss the train. Joe, good morning. How are you?
Hi, teacher. Good morning. Very well yourself. And
awesome stuff. Joe, we've been getting some feedback from some of our customers, and I just want us to talk about it one by one as we go ahead, because some of these customers' feedback has actually now started pushing up some of the unique selling propositions that we didn't intend to have. But customers are actually coming back to us and saying there is no any other fund that is doing this. And let's just go through it. Let's talk about the funding, or should I say, the finance option. I know that there is a few funds out there that are giving finance to other people. What's the difference though, and what is it that customers are appreciating? Let's talk about why would someone wants to be financed first, and then we can talk about the differentiator between us and the other funds.
Yeah, teacher. Well, very good question. So how we're helping our investors currently is that, not a lot of individuals has got a lot of money around, in their bank accounts right now to invest. But obviously they know they need to invest to get that large tax benefit and also to grow their capital. And that's what our loan agreement is about. So we actually helping the individuals that doesn't have the cash available right now, or the large amounts available that they wish they could invest, but they can't because they only have limited capital available. So we're assisting those investors, and that's the first thing we're really doing is going that extra mile to assist them. And then secondly, the reason why we better than some of the other funds out there, and then with that time of the game now where we need to compare why we're better, is because other funds, there is funds out there that also gives you an opportunity to only put down a small amount of capital. But that's capital that's only you only invest in the fund's cash flow. So if that makes, let's rather simplify it and put it down that those companies has already bought their assets. So there's no asset growth. And so they're only promising you returns on the investments, and that's why they're able to give you a loan. The difference with our fund is we are going to buy more assets, and that's why we need at least a 10% down, so you can grow your money within an asset, so that the fund grows, and you're getting money from that return that the asset generate. So it's a twofold sort of return. And that's the difference between our fund and the funds out there that's currently giving individuals loans or loan agreements for those shares.
Right. Joe, only yesterday, I think you helped out two people. The one person came in thinking that they are going to invest about 200,000. And then the other one came in thinking that they're going to invest 600,000. And after helping them out, having the conversation with them, they've both taken out a loan on 2.5 million. But just give me an example of who these individuals are, because some people might be sitting at home thinking, this doesn't apply to me, and yet the opportunity is right there in their face. They're not just resonating with it.
Yeah, so those individuals are normal working individuals that happen to be in a larger tax bracket in a country. Obviously, the whole idea about investing more is, a lot of that returns comes from your tax monies being paid back to you by SARS. And so we really, if we speak to an investor and we ask them some general questions, we soon realize that if they're in a higher tax bracket, we can really assist them and give them some options that they can utilize to further enhance their returns. So the one investor came in at about 200,000, and after doing an assessment on his taxes and his cash flow and where he is, and in the next 5 years, how is his funds going to flow? It made sense to him to invest the 2.5 million, because the money down and the money in his pocket was such a drastic difference that he opted to go for that option because it made financial sense. We're here to educate our investors as well and give them some good information to make some decisions with. Obviously, they'll still be asking a third party maybe to look at their taxes, or accountant to have a look at it. But we're here to make some suggestions, and
Awesome
some of
stuff.
those has
like
been really
that.
good. Yeah.
Okay, great. Joe, whilst we're going on to the next point, what is it that you're also seeing that customers are appreciating over and above the finance option? So, you can now invest, you got your minimum of 250,000, but actually you can invest around about all the way to 2.5 million as an individual. The bulk of that 2.5 million is coming from SARS. So which basically means 45% of that is going to be paid up, but you now need to only pay the difference. And that's a personal decision that one needs to be making. But what else have you been seeing that customers are actually bringing to the fore to say that, hey, your guys' fund is better than what I've been checking out there?
Yeah, something else that's really stood out over the past 2 weeks is the fact that our investors has come back to us and say that, we didn't compare our fund to other funds. But they came back and said, Fund A, B, and C is keeping their dividends the same, where our dividends is growing on a yearly basis. So we're growing our dividends compared to our rental increases. So that's a big benefit for our investors. So we're
what is that dividends, Joe, that you're giving out to the people?
So again, we're really starting the dividends for a fund like ours on the highest bracket, or the highest possible level, and that's 7.5%. So just keep in mind, 7.5%. We're leaving some money in the bank to buy more properties, but what we can pay you as an investor is one of the highest dividends in the market, and we're also growing that dividend year on year, which other funds are not doing. They're just looking to give you back your taxes and give you no growth at all. So
Right.
and that's really how we're standing out.
Right. So that 7.5, Joe, it is a dividends, right? But over and above that, the capital appreciation is not even included on your 7.5. Your isn't when you're buying properties and you're also getting equity on these properties, you're not also including that on that 7.5. So there is still an additional upside that the investors could potentially get over and above your 7.5. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're doing is that we investing money in the properties to optimize the properties and and really renovate those properties to increase the value of the properties. So let's say invested with us, we bought a property at a certain amount. Obviously, if we do work to that property and we enhance the value of the property, it will be worth much more than we originally paid for it. And that's growth on capital,
Okay.
and equity growth. And that's really what we're promising our investors here, is that if we're putting in the work to grow the fund, you're also going to benefit.
Awesome things. What I'm going to say here to the audience that are watching us right now as we are speaking, ladies and gentlemen, some of you might have already sent us you might have followed the application link to say that you want to get involved with us. I want to say that if you're watching us right now, at the end of the session, what we're going to do is to put in a link of the same application form. But basically what's going to happen is that it's going to bump you up. It's going to bump you up on the list, right? Because we've had so many people calling in, so we're still calling in a lot of people. And this is for people that, so put in your application if you haven't heard from us, right? So you haven't heard, there's round about 10 people calling you from our office, including myself, including Joe himself. And if you haven't had anyone calling you, engaging you on the Section 12J, I want you at the end of this video, we're going to put in a link. On that link, it's the application form. Please fill it in. Myself and Joe, we are going to dedicate our time today all the way to around about 3 o'clock. We are going to be on the phones calling you, making sure that you are in the fund and you are not left out. So at the end of the call, at the end of this streaming here, the link will be available. And the link basically says join M5 fund. That's what it's going to say. So watch out for it in the comments. Watch out for it in the comments. Joe, what else have you been seeing that the people have been saying to us as you've been collating all of this data across all the other 10 team members that have been talking to the people? What is it people that are appreciating?
Yeah. So, teacher, I've got quite a few points here. So, I'll try to narrow it down and shorten it up for our video not to be too long. But it basically comes down
to... So maybe just go on it factual. Boom, 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 boom. Ciao.
Yeah. So first thing they've mentioned is our raising fee. Our raising fee to other funds, is quite stands out as being one of the lowest. And so we're very happy with that. That feedback is well received. Something else is that, they compare to invest in our fund to investing their pensions into a pension fund. And if you have a look at some pension funds out there, the percentages there. So the feedback that was given to us is we're far exceeding the percentages, the growth on pension funds. So they rather invest their pensions with us. That's something that's really stood out. And also in the next 5 years, if your pension is getting paid out in the next 5 years, you definitely want to use this benefit, because you will be paying tax on your pension. You will be paying a lot of tax on your pension when it pays out in the next 5 years. So rather go for a loan agreement where you have this accumulated tax benefit that you can get that taxes back that was taxed on your pension. And that's something that's really stood out. Something else is, we're not just giving a service where we're making our investors money, but we're also doing good for the country, because we are giving accommodation to students that comes from previously disadvantaged communities, and they are going to be our future leaders. We are growing the country with giving quality housing and a a very stable learning environment for our students to utilize. So we're really doing our best, and we're going the extra mile to make those students succeed in what they're doing. And our investors are seeing that. They're seeing that we're reaching out to them, and we're not all about the money. We're about building relationships, and we're about helping our students achieve what they're looking to do. Um, something else that's really important is that a lot of funds promise you a lot of returns, but they do not deploy your capital. So what that means is that they can sit on your capital for 3 years without deploying it. And the individuals that's spoken to us know exactly our plan, how we deploy our capital, and how quickly we deploy our capital. Because you are not going to make a return if we don't deploy your capital and buy property or invest it in property. So compared to other funds, some funds runs for 3 years where they haven't decided yet how they're going to do it. Guys, we have the properties lined up. You can see it in our prospectus registered with government. We know exactly where the money is supposed to go. Our investment plan is done. We're just looking for the capital to invest it in the properties. That's a big point, because if you don't deploy the capital, you can't get a return. And that's where we're ahead of the game. We're deploying that capital very, very quickly.
Awesome.
As I mentioned, we're looking at trust and relationships. Something else is that M5 Property Addicts has been around for many, many years, and our investors know us. We've got a track record. We've got a track record that we've maintained, and we've kept our promises to our investors. Very important point. People only invest with people they trust. And so if we've been doing it for so many years, and that's why they're looking to invest with us. It's because of our track record, and the fact that you can drive up to the investment that's paid with your investment monies, and we'll take you through the property. We'll show you the students living there paying rent. It's a real investment you can touch. You can touch the property. You can walk through it. If you really want to, we can probably arrange your sleepover. But that's just But obviously, we're looking after our investors. Something else that stood out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take on one more last thing because we need to go and get onto the calls, man. There's so many people that are still dialing in, and there's so many people that are still on the application forms, and we need to get that. And at 9:30 we need to start. Me and you, we still need to organize some quick breakfast before we do that. So I'm gonna allow you one thing only, man.
Okay, one thing only would be we're Muslim friendly when it comes to investments, meaning that we can structure your loan agreement in such a way, and we're currently doing it for some of our investors, is that depending on your religious beliefs, we can structure the loan agreement to fit your current religious stance, and we're currently doing it for our investors. So guys, what that means is I've never seen this around for anybody else. But if you want to invest with M5 Property Addicts and you want to get back all your taxes, and you are of a religion that you can't pay any interest, guys, we can structure your investment in such a way that you do not pay any interest, obviously on your loan. That's quite an important thing for our investors. So anybody out there that's a Muslim, that's looking to invest, that wants to get back all their taxes on a loan agreement and doesn't want to pay any interest, we can also assist you.
Amazing stuff. Joe, thanks a lot for your time coming out into the morning like this one. So ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned, the Section 12J, as we know it is closing down in the next couple of days. By the 30th, it's done. However, for us, we have already started countdown. Friday, this coming Friday, is our D-Day. Why am I saying Friday is our D-Day? It takes my office a couple of days, 2 to 3 days for your paperwork to get all sorted out. Remember, there's an application form that you need to fill in. There is an agreement that you need to sign. There's the money that needs to be transferred to us. And all of those things are ping-pongs between you and us and our office. And at average, it takes us around about 2 days to finish up. and for the money to reflect and the shares certificates to be out there. So at the moment, right, at the moment, wherever you are, I almost want to say to you, I am going to put in a link. Within this link is the application form. If you have filled it before, we are going to get to you. But if you have filled it before, if you have filled it before, you've completed it before, and you've not heard from our office, especially maybe within the last 5 days, and you haven't heard from our office, I'm going to urge you to fill it, to complete it again, so that you can be at the top of the list. And myself and Joe will potentially give you a call today. If we don't get you to you by today at 12 o'clock, tomorrow we're coming into the office as a Sunday, and we will call you up until around about 1 o'clock. But we will definitely get to you before the Monday comes through. That's the first action that you need to be taking. Fill in the application form if you haven't heard from us. If you have heard from us, the person that spoke to you, send them a WhatsApp to say, I want my, send my, so your application form has been sent, but this time around, you ask for them to send you the agreements form, right? So if your agreements form hasn't come through, just send them in our WhatsApp. So you have spoken to someone before, and maybe you were thinking about this. I don't want you to be left out. Send the WhatsApp to whoever that you've been talking to. It might be Joe, it might be myself, it might be Rita, it might be Letty, Melissa, all the team members that we've got, Tsecho, all of these guys. Just send them a WhatsApp, and we will take the action today to get you your agreement done. Someone else is asking here, does one need to have the 10% immediately? Yes, you need to have a minimum of 250,000 for you to be investing your entire 2.5 million. You need to have that by Friday. So by Friday, this coming Friday, you need to have that. But don't end it there. We may just be able to help you. So fill in the application form. Joe is going to speak to you so that we can understand your circumstance. We want to help everybody. If you're a Muslim, well, we just became Muslim compliant. Give us, send in that application form, and we'll get through all the paperwork to you. Thanks very much, and we will check you on the next video. But thanks for investing on the Section 12J Fund. Cheers, Joe.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, eh?